Good afternoon, grade 8s. I'm going to interrupt the virus sessions for this explainer after a few of you suggested to me that you needed help with the lowest common denominator. I'm not surprised because in primary school, it's often a situation where teachers teach you a very simple method, but it's not the most effective method for learning how to do it. Most of you in primary school, if you are faced with a sum like this, 1/2 plus 1/3, your teacher or your coping strategy was we're going to say 2 times 3 equals 6. So our LCD is equal to 6. In this particular case, this is very, very helpful because the smallest number that 3 and 2 can both fit into happens to be 6, and it works. In the second example, though, if we look carefully at it, understanding what the lowest common denominator really is helpful. The lowest common denominator is the smallest number that all denominators can fit into evenly. And if we look carefully at the second example, our LCD is also going to be 6 because 6 fits into 6 and 3 fits into 6. If we take a more complicated example, when we have 1/3 plus 1/2 plus 1/6, and we have to find the common denominator between 3 and 2 and 6, if we use the old method of multiplying 3 times 2 times 6, we get this really big number, 36. So I want you to think of a new way of doing things. If we look at the denominators, we have the denominator of 3, 2, and 6. What I want you to do is to count off multiples of 3, 2, and 6. And I've already done that for you here. So if we count out multiples of 3, counting in 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 2, 4, 6, 8, 6, 12, we can then look for the lowest common multiple. Remember, this is a skill that we practiced already in grade 8. And you'll see that the lowest common multiple is 6. And that's going to make our work a lot easier because we're not going to have to do that evil thing which we never ever have liked, simplification. If we use 36, we're going to have to do a lot of simplification of our final answer. So to rewrite the sum and get some chance to work it out, if our LCD is 6, how do I turn 2 into 6? And because I'm using an easy example, most of us know if we say 3 times 2, we're going to get 6. But whatever we do on the bottom of a fraction, if we're going to multiply by 3 on the bottom, we have to do it on the top as well. If I go to the next example, 3, to make 6, because that's my common denominator, the one I want everywhere, I'm going to say 2 times 3 to make 6. But if I do it on the bottom, I have to do it on the top as well. And finally, the last ones are where 6 is there, so we don't have to change anything. Rewriting this sum, I then get 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6 plus 1 over 6, which actually works out to be 6 over 6, also known as 1. Done for us. Now let's take a harder example that relates to the topic we've been doing in equations. In this particular example, I've got 4, I've got 7, and I've got 8 in the denominator. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're not going to use the old method, and we're not going to say 4 times 7 times 8, because that's a really, really big number. Instead, we're going to find the common denominator, and you can use your calculator to help you. Now, I've worked a little bit ahead of you to save time, but you'll see in the first set of numbers, I'm counting off multiples of 4, counting in 4s, 4, 8, 12, etc. I'm counting off here in 7s, and I'm counting off here in 8s. And if I look through this list, and you'll remember this from doing your LCMs, you'll see we have a common denominator of 56. Therefore, my LCD for this is going to be 56. And as such, I have to figure out, and maybe even use my calculator, what I need to multiply by. I can start with the easy parts first, because I know that 7 times 8 is 56. Remembering each time to multiply by the same number on the top and bottom. But if I have to figure out what times 4 is 56, I might need my calculator there, just in case. And if I work it out with my calculator, I can figure out that it's 14 times 4, which is equal to 56. Remembering our methodology from yesterday, if we have the same common denominator everywhere, we can cancel it out, and we can rewrite the sum. I'm going to do that on the next page. With good distribution, I should get a final answer when working through the LCD of 14x plus 24x equals 7x minus 7. Combining that, I'm going to get 38x is equal to 7x minus 7. And moving very slowly, I am then going to subtract. I'm going to get 31x is equal minus 7. And a final answer of negative 7 over 31. I realize this has been a longer video, but hopefully it helps you begin your journey into really understanding an LCD and how to solve equations using LCDs.